world was young, the mountains green, no stain yet on the moon was seen.
Then with a crash came a great ringing shout. Ra, boom, ra.
3 rings for the elven kings under the sky, 7 for the dwarf lords in their halls of stone, 9 for mortal men doomed to die, 1 for the dark lord on his dark throne in the land of Mordor where the shadows lie. 1 ring to rule them all, 1 ring to find them, 1 ring to bring them all, and in the darkness bind them in the land of Mordor where the shadows lie.
It's talking about Tolkien, Ben.
It's talking about Tolkien, Nate.
The final chapter of part 1 of the second book of the trilogy, the Palantir, Ben.
The Palantir, chapter 11.
Oh yeah, it is 11. I was counting, I'm like, I only count 10, but my document scrolled down a little bit, so I didn't get to see Boromir goes to the farm, or whatever that first chapter was, where he goes off into the sunset and enjoys his retirement.
Yeah, it's the departure of Boromir.
Yeah.
This is basically the one scene in the movie where Pippin picks up the Palantir. It's obviously zoomed in a bit more in the book. And interestingly enough, in the book, I'm going to tell you right now, the biggest difference between the book and the movie is Pippin has a full-blown conversation with Sauron.
Yeah.
It is not just like glimpses of an eye and mysterious speech. They talk.
Yeah. Talk about all kinds of stuff, like, how's it going? Yeah, what's your name? That's cool. So, what are some hobbies that you enjoy? I enjoy flaying my prisoners alive while they scream, and I just slowly torture and bleed them out until they've given me all their information, and then I mercifully kill them. What do you like to do?
Not
Pipeweed.
Not get killed.
Okay.
I got 2 pipes. Yes. But I don't know. There's a lot of interesting insights into Gandalf's character in this.
And Mary has one of the best lines of the entire series thus far.
Well, I'm going to let you, as was tradition, start summarizing, and I shall interject.
Okay, so last time, if you recall,
Do you recall?
Yeah, I was trying. I was looking up this quote because I'm like, is that really the quote? No, it is. Last time, Wormtongue threw something at Gandalf and or Saruman. He wasn't quite sure who he was going to throw it at. He ended up missing. The strange orb hit the ground, rolled into the water. Pippin went and grabbed it, and Gandalf's like, "Don't touch that! That's mine. Give it here. Yep, there you go. We're gonna wrap it up. This is mine now." And Gandalf doesn't quite know what it is yet. He's gonna ponder it. He's been trying to figure out how have Mordor and Isengard been communicating, because it's clear they've kept in touch this entire time, but there's like 2 hostile nations between them. So, how?
Yeah, they've definitely been more coordinated than one would expect. It's like your World War II analogy, where the Germans were using radios and the French were using messengers.
Yeah. So how is this happening? You know what? Old Gandalf needs a little nap. So I'm gonna lay down for the night. I'll ponder this in the morning, but I am going to sleep with this orb wrapped in a blanket as if it is my stuffy. Good night, everyone. Pippin's over there like, just wanted to touch it. Like, why do you have to be so mean? I just want to touch it and maybe look at it a bit. I don't know, maybe smell it. I'm not weird, okay? He's weird for not letting me do this. And Mary's just like, okay, Pippin, I'm gonna need you to stop talking. Now I need you to shut up. The quote: "No took ever beat a brandy buck for inquisitiveness, but is this the time, I ask you?"
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good point. It's similar to the tone it takes in the movie. Pippin is being weirdly curious. Mary's like, "Hey, what if we just left well enough alone for 5 minutes? We've been out of like the prison camp for about a weekend.
Yeah,
What if we just didn't
maybe
push
we
it?"
settle down. I did think that I misread it at first. I thought he was saying no took has ever been beaten by a brandy buck for inquisitiveness, but is this the time, I ask you? Because he was trying to sleep and Pippin would not shut up. And I thought he was like, look, if you don't shut up, I'm gonna have to hit you.
He does say something about that. Because he does talk about like, "Pippin, I'm literally falling asleep. What if we just stop now?" But they have another little conversation about like the change they detect in Gandalf, where Mary describes Gandalf as having grown, quote, or something. He could be both kinder and more alarming, merrier and more solemn than before. And he points out that, like, did you see the way Gandalf like ordered that guy around? Like,
Yeah.
everybody's afraid of Saruman, and Gandalf's like, "Hey, I'm not done talking. Come back." And he had to. Like,
Yeah, he broke his spell too.
yeah.
No one was thinking like, wow, what a big dom Saruman is after that. They're like, wow, you know what? This guy is wearing a stupid cloak and is giving some real beta energy off. Let's just leave him in this tower forever.
Yeah. Yeah, and then they did as much as they can, I suppose.
Yeah, we'll never see him again.
Yeah, so Pippin's like, "I just want to know what that orb is." And Mary's like, "I'll be real honest with you, man. I could not care less what that fucking orb is." Like, he's like, "But it was so like shiny, and I think maybe it spoke to me." And Mary's like, I just wouldn't, man." He says something about like,
You know who's sleeping? Who's speaking to me? Sleep. Sleep is speaking to me. It's calling my name. Oh, look at that! I'm going away. Shut the fuck up.
Mary recalls the words of everyone's favorite elf, who we definitely haven't forgotten, Gildor. Who's
Oh, I thought we were gonna say Legolas. That's everyone's favorite elf. He makes it
no,
in the movie.
yeah, but he really like he's that guy who just like everybody's like having a good time smoking some of that pipe weed, and Legolas just has to be like, "Oh, oh, could you?" It's like, "Oh, Legolas, do you need something?" He's like, that's Legolas." But no, Gildor is cool. He says, "Don't meddle in the affairs of wizards, for they are subtle and quick to anger." So, Pippin, don't touch the orb, or Gandalf will murder you. Like, he could murder
Okay.
he could have murdered you before, and we both agree he's gone Super Saiyan or something. So, like, he can extra murder you now. So just don't.
Counterpoint. I wanna.
Counterpoint, he's already asleep.
Well, I guess Mary's asleep. We go look at Gandalf. Gandalf's asleep. Now I'm going to do that Indiana Jones thing, and I know that came much later than Lord of the Rings, but shut up. Or I'm gonna get another object, and I'm gonna put it in there so that when I take the orb from Gandalf's arms, he's got a different object in there. And so when he shifts in his sleep, he's like, "Oh, what is it? Oh, okay."
So the movie
He doesn't wake up.
The movie does an interesting thing with that, where this is a minor difference, obviously, but in the movie, I believe this scene occurs in Edoras after like a celebration, and he swaps the stone with a jar of some kind because they're in a house. But in the book, they are camping out on the road to Edoras. They haven't made it there because they don't teleport in the book.
And they're not in a super hurry. Yeah, they need to get to Gondor, but we don't need to travel all day and night. We can rest on occasion, you know?
So yeah, in this one it's just a rock. But it's also kind of the scene is set a little different when you imagine it's outside for a couple reasons. There's a few things that happen that make it a little scarier. But I also thought that the whole taking of the orbs, so when he sneaks up and Gandalf's eyes are open, they do a pretty good job with that in the movie. But he's actually asleep, and so Pippin realizes that, and he swaps it. Reminded me of Bilbo in The Hobbit. It's another reinforcing of halflings as good burglars, which of course will bleed into D&D.
Yeah. I mean, no. How dare you? There are no hobbits in D&D.
I said halfling.
Okay. But definitely when the trademark for Hobbit expires, literally the next day we will have hobbits in D&D.
Absolutely. Yeah.
They'll sell a special edition. Literally, they'll probably just drop a new adventure book with a bunch of hobbits right on the store for that day.
I think they have Lord of the Rings D&D books. But I think they're officially licensed. They're not allowed to use it willy-nilly in whatever adventures they want.
Yeah, that's why we're going to have Strahd as a hobbit. Anyway, Pippin's got that orb. And he goes somewhere safe so he can just, he just look at it. He just wants to look at it. What's wrong with that? He just wants to look at it, guys. Where is Pippin? Guys, Pippin is missing. They found him, Ben. And Gandalf, I'm surprised Gandalf doesn't just burn this guy to shit.
Well, it's not like they... So you say they find him. They hear an ear-splitting scream.
Well, yeah, that's true. He does scream. That conversation does not play out too well for Pippin, So...
Yeah, so it switches then to Gandalf's perspective.
Yes. Gandalf is trying to figure out, what did you tell him? What did you say?
Well, so
he says...
So that's how it goes in the movie. In the book, it's they find Pippin, and I don't think Gandalf, even at this point, realizes what it is. And he's like, "Oh, there's the thief. So you took it from me." And then he realizes Pippin's half comatose and speaking in a demonic double voice. And he says, "It is not for you, Saruman. I will send for it at once. Do you understand? Say just that." And then that's when Gandalf's slaps him a little. He's like, "Peregrine Took, come back."
A little harder. Just a little bit harder than he maybe needed to. Hey.
And then Pippin he comes back to his senses. He's talking with a normal voice again, and he says, "Oh, Gandalf, forgive me." And Gandalf's like, "Why don't you tell me what you did first?"
Yeah, before I forgive you, I need some details.
Uh,
I need to know how mad I need to be at you.
yeah. So Pippin says, and then I looked at the ball, right? So I'm looking at the ball, and I saw some things.
Uh-huh.
They weren't good things.
Yeah.
I wanted to put it down, but I couldn't. And then he came and he questioned me, and he looked at me, and I think that's all I remember.
Well, you're going to have to start remembering harder. I want to know what you said.
Yeah, Gandalf doesn't buy that, and Pippin's like, he looks away and he just starts shivering. Everybody's staring at him except Mary, who won't look at him. And Gandalf, this time, not looking friendly, just tells him to speak. And so now Pippin sort of shamefully says, "I saw a dark sky and tall battlements and tiny stars. It seemed far away and long ago, yet hard and clear. The stars were big, but they were cut off by big things with wings. Very big." He thought there were 9 of them, and they were getting bigger and bigger. And
It's an oddly specific number, Pippin.
he said, then he came. And he didn't speak in language, but he just looked, and Pippin understood exactly what he wanted to say. And the voice says to Pippin, I mean, it's not a voice, but the presence communicates to Pippin, "So, you have come back. Why have you neglected to report for so long?" Pippin did not answer. Then the voice says, "Who are you?"
I'm Saruman.
And Pippin didn't answer, and that's when the pain started. And it got worse and worse until Pippin finally said, "A hobbit." Then, suddenly, he seemed to see me, and he laughed at me. It was cruel. It was like being stabbed with knives. I struggled, but he said, "Wait a moment. We shall meet again soon. Tell Saruman that this dainty is not for him. I will send for it at once. Do you understand? Say just that." And then he was laughing again and gloating, and Pippin was falling to pieces, and he can't say anything more. I don't remember anything else. And then I thought of you, Nate, because Gandalf says, "Look at me." But I imagine him saying it in your Batman voice, even though that was the Joker.
Look at me! Swear me! Where is it?
So Gandalf commands Pippin to look at him, and Pippin looks directly into Gandalf's eyes. This was not a request. And Gandalf holds his gaze in pure silence. There's a whole army of dudes watching this, not saying a word. Gandalf holds his eyes, and then, "All right." He literally says, "All right." And he has discerned, presumably magically, that Pippin is not lying. That is all he said. That is all the communication they had. Gandalf even offers Pippin a rare moment of praise.
Yeah. You fucked up, but you fucked up in such a way that actually benefited us. can you imagine if someone who actually had knowledge and like understood what was going on looked into this orb? We would have been in big trouble. I think I'm the only one who could have even resisted Sauron, and I'm not even sure then. But you, I mean, you thought like the Misty Mountains was Mordor. Like, you have no idea what's going on. You can feed misinformation to this guy just by being you. And it's also very lucky that he didn't want to just interrogate you there on the spot. He wanted to bring you in and torture you in person. So he thinks Saruman got a hold of a hobbit and then forced that hobbit to look into the Palantir as a form of torture. And so now he thinks Saruman has a hobbit and probably the ring-bearing hobbit. And that's great news, because now Sauron is going to think that the ring's over here. And so his attention is going to be over here. That's awesome. Good job, Pippin. You colossal fuck up. I could kiss you, but I won't because you're fucking Pippin and not like a Sam or a Mary.
Certainly no.
So,
Frodo.
you know.
You're not even
Yeah,
really a fatty bulger,
certain.
let's be honest.
Yeah, Fatty Bulger, that dude's getting a firm handshake at the end of this adventure.
Fatty Bulger's out there leading the
give
resistance
you a high
right
five.
now.
Oh, yeah.
But, no, so he's not quite that mean to Pippin. I think he says...
No, he's not.
They put this line in the movie that...
He is mean to him a lot, though.
Yeah.
He's mean to him a lot.
The line in the movie is, he's a fool, but an honest fool. And then he says, wiser ones might have done worse in such a pass. But, and I think he means that not as like, you succeeded because you're so stupid, but that genuinely people who are counted more powerful and smart than you would have struggled to resist as well as you did. I think it is a genuine compliment.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it is. This is also why I asked last time if this luck that they keep talking about may be a little bit of divine intervention. Like, Pippin looking into that Palantir was the best thing that could have happened here, because Gandalf would have tried eventually.
So Theoden will say a line. Theoden says, "It has long been said, oft evil shall evil mar." And I think that's kind of like another thesis statement where it is maybe a little bit of providence, but also if Sauron were less cruel and less greedy and less gloating, he wouldn't be doing any of this crap in the first place. But he also would have had the wherewithal to question Pippin immediately. He became so overjoyed that he just immediately sent for the ring and told Saruman off. He did not think he needed to go further. He continues to overestimate himself. And so I think while the divine may nudge a little here and there, I think the real lesson Tolkien's going for is that evil is simply evil is evil because it's not sustainable. It's never going to work because it's always going to plant the seeds of its own destruction. Only good can win. Only good can actually achieve anything.
Which is exactly why we're headed for a golden age in America, Ben.
We're headed for an age after which there may be a better age. But you may be envying the hobbits as time goes on, because I do want to read this quote, because this is the thing that they don't put this ability in D&D, and I think they should. Aragorn asks how Pippin is, Gandalf says, I think all will be well now. He was not held long, and hobbits have an amazing power of recovery. The memory, or the horror of it, will probably fade quickly. Too quickly, perhaps. Hobbits have a great resistance to psychological trauma.
Yeah.
And
Just like me.
I think that merits a proficiency in wisdom saving throws. Just throwing that out there. So Gandalf will ask Aragorn. This is another interesting exchange, because again, this is also in front of most of the army, who has now seen Gandalf order Saruman around like it's nothing, shatter his staff like it's nothing, and command an army of legendary tree beings that they didn't even know existed. He asks Aragorn if he will take this Orthanc stone and guard it. It is a dangerous charge. And it is Aragorn who says, dangerous indeed, but not to all. There is one who may claim it by right. For this, assuredly, is the Palantir of Orthanc from the treasury of Elendil. That guy I'm always talking about, who I may be the heir of. And it was set here by the kings of Gondor, and now that my hour draws near, I will take it.
Yeah.
And Gandalf...
Dibs.
Gandalf looks...
Weregild.
No, he doesn't. Gandalf looks at Aragorn and then lifts the covered stone and, bowing, presents it to Aragorn.
Fuck yeah.
And that astonishes this army. He is setting Aragorn up to lead these guys. Aragorn is stepping into his role confidently.
Yeah.
And I will say, in the movies, this is around the time that Aragorn starts to become more confident and starts to really step into the role. But yeah, here he's like, hey.
Yeah, this has been kind of his story arc for this entire part of the book, because he was not confident even as far as the end of the last book, where Gandalf fell to the Balrog, and then Aragorn was like, oh boy, well, there's two paths we can go. Let's just see what happens.
Yeah. And there is a little back and forth about, even though Aragorn has every right to use this, even though it belongs to him, be careful, because Sauron's on the other end of that thing, and Gandalf suspects that even Saruman may have been influenced more than he realizes, and we'll find out Denethor too in the next book. But
yeah, I can imagine Saruman is on the Palantir, and Sauron is like, did you get it? He's like, yeah, I are you sure about this? Yes. The robe of many colors. It is the way to go. Trust me, everyone's going to take you super seriously. Saruman's like, okay, if you say so.
And then the interesting thing that Gandalf does not say to Pippin, because he would never give Pippin this, but he will say that this whole thing may have been strangely fortunate, and then I think this maybe is where the providence comes in. Not that God is sitting there literally like pushing Pippin towards the Palantir, but just that like the way things have been set in motion, it couldn't work out any other way than this. And it does, because it all works out for good in this case, it certainly seems like a plan. But Gandalf says that Pippin taking it and looking into it might have saved him from looking into it, because he was going to try to use it. As we all know, when you get a new magical item, you have to take a long rest to attune to it.
Obvious.
Yeah, and that's what Gandalf was doing there. It looks like he was just sleeping, but he was actually performing a sacred ritual.
He was meditating. There's a difference.
Yes. And he says, if I had tried to use this, I should have been revealed to him myself, and I am not ready for such a trial, if indeed I shall ever be so. But even if I found the power to withdraw myself, it would be disastrous for him to see me. Until the hour comes when secrecy will avail no longer. And so I think it's a pretty good paragraph that sums up a lot of Gandalf's character. He's pious, he believes in providence, he's looking for the plan and the wisdom, but he's also very humble. He is afraid of Sauron. He knows he is not going to 1v1 Sauron. That is not why he is here. But Aragorn's pushing for it. Aragorn's assuming the Nate role of saying like, hey, what if you did though? Like, what if you did try to 1v1 him? I think you got this. And then I'll be there, and Legolas will be there, and Gimli will be there. You do some wizard shit, and we'll come up and, like, hit him in the head.
Yeah. What's he gonna do? Die. Exactly.
Yeah.
Do this.
It worked for Isildur. Isildur didn't even have a wizard.
Yeah.
And
at the time,
pretty much that guy.
Sauron... Yeah, and Sauron had the ring at the time, so, like, I think we got this.
Yeah.
Wouldn't it be funny if he got the ring back and then, like, he couldn't use it because he lost that one finger and couldn't regrow it?
It only fit on the one finger.
Yeah. It doesn't fit on any of the other ones.
He needs to take it to the
ring
cracks.
finger on his other hand.
No, he needs to take it to the cracks of Mount Doom, the one place where it can be resized. And he accidentally drops it in. And then they're all having this talk about like, wow, God is on our side. I think we got this. Everything's going to be great. Hey, are the stars going out? As if some giant thing is flying twixt us and them. And then the screeching starts and the men feel an inhuman fear as they fail their own wisdom saving throws. And they just hit the fucking dirt. Everybody were in trouble.
Yeah, see, this is why they need to take some pointers from Soviet Russia. They need to dig some trenches and then run those people over with tanks until they get over their fear. Do whatever the equivalent of Nazgul is for that.
So this is when Gandalf decides it is time to fucking run. Everybody run for your goddamn lives. Flee for your lives. Abandon your posts. He grabs Pippin like a fucking football and he jumps on Shadowfax and he's like, guys, good luck.
See you in Gondor. Bye.
Yeah. He's out. It's not quite that bad, but it's almost that bad. Basically, Gandalf does not think that this is the messenger that was sent to get to collect the Hobbit and the ring from Saruman, but this was probably the Nazgul that was waiting beyond the river that Grishnak was talking about, and Sauron is now impatient and moving, so it's going to Isengard. I don't think it necessarily sees or cares about them, but it's going to very quickly find out what happened at Isengard. And then it's going to come back. That's why we need to not be here when that happens.
Hey, Legolas, you want to shoot this one too? Do us a solid?
Yeah, no, weirdly he does not. And I love that, like, Pippin's whole thing in all this is like, whoa, Gandalf, I didn't know you rode bareback.
I don't know what she said, but I know she responded.
Shy said, whoa. No, it's not what you're thinking, Shy. He doesn't ride elf fashion except on Shadowfax.
Yeah.
Shired? How many children has he shired? All of them. No, this is where we find out that Shadowfax, you don't ride Shadowfax.
Shadowfax rides you?
Shadowfax carries you if he feels like it. And you don't put a saddle on Shadowfax. Shadowfax saddles you. Yeah. Yeah, there is a lot of like Shadowfax it's really hard to do this with Shy in the background, just like responding to every word. I said Shadowfax and she's like, more like Shadowfucks. Yeah, Shadowfax is running so fast that it looks like he is still and the rest of the world is moving around him.
Just like Futurama.
I knew you were going to say that.
Yeah, you did.
And then Gandalf, so Pippin's sitting there. Gandalf's just talking to himself. And he's talking to himself in like a dozen languages. And then Pippin finally understands one of the languages, and he's saying to himself a little rhyme. He says, tall ships and tall kings, 3 times 3. What brought they from the foundered land over the flowing sea? 7 stars and 7 stones in 1 white tree. I wanted to look at this one a bit. Did you pay any attention to this?
No, not even a little bit.
Really?
Not even a little bit, Ben.
So I don't know much about who the 9 ring wraiths are, other than that they were once kings of men. But I notice here Gandalf
you got
is
Oin, you got Gloin, you got Feely and Kiwi.
Gandalf is reciting some kind of like poem about Numenor, tall ships and tall kings, 3 times 3, so 9 kings. What brought they from the foundered land Numenor over the flowing sea? 7 stars and 7 stones. And the 7 stones are the Palantir and 1 white tree. That's the tree of Gondor. And I'm wondering, is he talking about the people who would become the Nazgul? I guess I'll have to look into that. I didn't look it up before we started recording, but I did highlight it, and I wondered.
Well, let's look at Rings of Power and see if that helps us answer that question.
Well, because I know the only 2 like Nazgul you really know anything about are like the Witch King and Kamul the Easterling. But the other ones, the fact
Kamul has an accent.
Yeah, but the fact that they would call out Kamul as being an Easterling would imply that the other ones are not Easterlings, which means they're from Middle Earth.
Well,
or I guess they could be
one king of the Easterlings.
Well, there are many. I mean, the East is huge, as is the South. Like they could be from Harad.
Yeah, but just like in all things, the North and the West are the best.
It's where the elves were.
Hell yeah.
It's a big technological advantage. But there's an interesting thing. I hope you did pay attention to this. I'm going to read.
No. You can't make me.
I'm going to read one more quote, and I can make you. Because Pippin asks what the Palantir is. And Gandalf starts talking about it. They're basically seeing stones. That they were for the kings of old. And so Pippin's like, oh, so Sauron didn't make these? No, Gandalf said. Nor by Saruman. It is beyond his art and beyond Sauron's too.
Nor Saruman. I mean, did you see that guy?
Saruman definitely didn't make these.
Yeah.
He couldn't polish a fucking bowling ball, let alone the Palantir. No, he says, they came from beyond Westerness, from Eldamar. The Noldor made them. Feanor himself, maybe, wrought them in days so long ago that time cannot be measured in years. I just wanted to call out, I hope you were paying attention when the Noldor get mentioned. There's a reason
I mean,
I
he
cover
does that
this
from time
stuff.
to time.
They're important.
Yeah, the Noldor are a subsect of the Erdkinder, and they're a subsect of the light seers, and that's different from the dark elves.
It is different from the dark elves.
and then you got the sea elves.
I will bring out the chart if you keep doing this. So, yeah, it is strongly implied that Feanor made these, which is an interesting thing. Feanor is an
the Eldar, Ben, the Sindar.
Mm-hmm. And which ones are those?
The Eldar, I want to say, are a super sect. Like, it's a group of other sects. And the Sindar are not wood elves, but something else. I don't know. Sea elves?
That's the Teleri.
Snow elves?
That's from Elden Ring. Not Elden Ring. That's from Skyrim.
Yeah. They're certainly one of them. One of the good ones. One of the best.
One of the best.
But they're not high elves.
Okay. Are you ready to hear the actual point now?
Sure.
Okay. So Feanor made these. Regardless, elves made these.
Yeah.
And
but they are humans, and you don't get to take them back. No take-backs.
Well, they're given to the humans. And that's fine. They belong to the humans.
Yeah.
But I think it's interesting then that he says that Sauron, a Maiar, and Saruman, a Maiar, could not equal the talent of Feanor, an elf.
Well, first of all, he was pretty awesome in his day, and also not awesome at times as well. And Sauron, let's face it, he's not really a creator of things. He's more of a I'm gonna break your shit. And Saruman, like, come on, really, Saruman?
Yeah, I don't think anybody's shocked that Saruman couldn't do it.
Yeah, no, I like how Gandalf just had to get one more in.
Yeah,
it wasn't made by Sauron. It also wasn't made by Saruman. Let's be real clear on that. Oh no, Gandalf! I didn't even think for a second that loser did it. Okay.
Well, he gets one more in, though. I think he's including himself in this. And this is an interesting thing in this age of AI. I think I know what Tolkien would say to it. To all those AI artists who say they're just the same as somebody using a tablet to draw. Perilous to us all are the devices of an art deeper than we possess ourselves. And
hey, just because I don't know how to make nuclear weapons doesn't mean I shouldn't have them, Ben.
Can you imagine if everybody who had the power to use nuclear weapons had to first understand them?
Man, that would eliminate, well, a lot of people, Ben. Do I want to eliminate those people from being able to end all of us? I don't know.
Or in general.
Yeah.
Yeah, so then he elaborates on the powers. which are basically that when you look through the stones, whatever you're pointed at, and the stones used to be arrayed to point at each other, with sort of a central location being Osgiliath, I think. So that way the human lords from Numenor could manage, they could like micromanage their kingdom in a way that basically no other civilization could compete with. So they can communicate over long distances. You can see what's going on. And sometimes you can even see what has happened in the past, which is very useful to Saruman, who has been searching for the One Ring this whole time and set up shop near where Isildur is known to have died, and was probably using that Palantir to scout for the One Ring when he found out then that Sauron was on the other end of it. It's interesting how he says it's a shame that Sauron has like twisted the network. So basically, if you look through a Palantir, you're going to wind up looking at Sauron eventually. And
not cool.
Because Gandalf even is tempted. He drops a lot of Silmarillion references here. Even now, my heart desires to test my will upon it, to see if I could not wrench it from him and turn it where I would, to look across the wide seas of water and of time to Tirion the fair, and perceive the unimaginable hand and mind of Feanor at their work, while both the white tree and the golden were in flower. He sighed and was silent, and Pippin's like, I don't know what any of that shit is.
Yeah. Do you want to hear more about the various families of the Shire? I can
do it too,
about
Gandalf.
the local gossip.
Yeah. I can also talk about things no one cares about, Gandalf. It hurts me. It hurts me so much. It's interesting, though, that Gandalf, I guess it makes sense that Gandalf, you'd think he might have been there, but I guess he was just in Valinor at this time. So Feanor presumably made the Palantir and the Silmarils. He made those in Valinor. This is after they'd crossed the sea, and he had his like workshop in Valinor where he did all these wonderful things. And Gandalf was there too, though he might not have been, literally in there watching Feanor do it. And also Gandalf would have been there to see the light of the two trees. And so in that case, it's Gandalf maybe like half wishing he could have seen some of these like great events of history, and then also like wishing he could go back to like just maybe an objectively better time.
Make Middle Earth great again.
Yes, we're going to make Middle Earth great again. Folks, listen, people don't understand. I'll tell you this right now. If you ever see Denethor, and I call him Little Tomato.
I think I've talked before about the two trees, right?
Kind of. They're trees. They were light.
Morgoth
and along
destroyed
came
them.
Morgoth,
So,
and he was like, "I'm gonna ruin everything because that's what I do."
So the light
and then God was like, "I intended for that to happen all along."
No, God
Here,
was like,
have the sun.
You will see. Well, God didn't give us the sun. I mean, not capital G to God, but so no, before, like, the sun and the moon are a compromise. They're nothing compared to the two trees. The two trees.
Why didn't they just make more trees?
They couldn't. The only way they could.
Why not?
Well, they will make them again, but
okay, just do that now.
They can't because they need the Silmarils to do it.
Okay. Why?
The Silmarils
They didn't need the Silmarils to make them the first time.
They used... I guess they used a lot of juice to make them the first time. And they don't have that much juice again. But if they got the Silmarils have the original light.
Have juice.
They're lowercase g gods. They're not all powerful.
We'll get uppercase G God to like lend us some of that juice.
He doesn't lend juice just to make trees.
Why not? They're awesome trees, man.
This is all part of the plan.
Did you not see those trees the first time? Do you know how cool they were? You remember that?
I exist outside of time, so I don't remember anything, man. It all happens all at the same time. You guys are the ones.
I'm actually looking at the trees right now, both in the past and
I
future.
hold all of time and space in my hands like a book, and if I ever want to look at the two trees, I just turn back to that page. You are the unfortunate ones who have to go through one at a time.
Yeah. That is...
I told you that was going to happen when you decided to jump in here. I told you.
Shit,
I said to every single one of you. I said to every single one of you, you don't have to do this.
Did anyone stay behind?
Tons of people stayed behind.
Okay.
A very minor number of the Ainur went into the world. The mightiest among the ones that went into the world were the Valar. Morgoth was probably the strongest of all the Ainur. But through his evil schemes, he diminished himself and was eventually defeated.
Got him.
Evil always defeats itself.
Can't wait for that to happen.
It takes a while.
Just waiting for that day. Yeah, it sure does.
Sometimes it takes an age of the earth, but we always get them in the end.
It would be cool if we could just like rip out the intervening chapters and just get to that point, but I guess I'm just here. You
wanted the Age of Man.
Age of Man.
They don't all look like Aragorn. Some of them look like that orange Jabba the Hutt fucker.
We're going to have so much poison smoke. By the end, you're going to be the Age of the Orc. You're going to be tired of the Age of the Orc, okay?
Yeah, isn't that funny? Because they're all like, God, it would be so great if we had an Isildur, but I guess we'll just have to sell for Aragorn. Now we're like, God, it'd be so great if we had an Aragorn. I'll sell for Aragorn's son.
So I think I'd take Bill Ferny at this point.
Yeah, can we get Bill Ferny?
He's only half orc, right? And then it's funny. I think you'll appreciate this. Pippin's like, wow, I wish I'd known all this before. I really had no idea what I was doing. Gandalf's like, shut the hell up. You knew exactly what you were doing. You knew you were doing what you weren't supposed to be doing. You knew that. And no, you know what? I don't tell you anything. I tell you what you're not supposed to do, and then if you go ahead and do it, you know what? The burned hand teaches best. Maybe you'll learn.
I will not.
I'm going to touch it twice as hard. Yeah, let me see. What else do I have? Oh, yeah. They do get like one more good shot in at Saruman about how, well, Saruman, we gave him a chance to come with us, right? And he didn't want to because he was afraid that he would be seen as betraying Sauron, and Sauron was ultimately going to win this war, and then he'd be treated like a traitor. Well, now, Pippin, I got to tell you, the one thing that makes me not want to kill you, the one thing you've ever done that makes me not want to kill you, is now a Nazgul on a giant flying monstrosity. He's going to show up there to get a hobbit and a ring. And Saruman doesn't have either of them. And he doesn't have the Palantir either. And that's going to be hilarious.
That's going to be real funny. Now, my question is, why is the Nazgul not just... I mean, I guess maybe he would dismount on the top of the tower, right? He's not going to dismount on the ground. That's the only way I can see that this doesn't end in him dismounting and then getting a bunch of tree men jumping on him and punching him a whole bunch.
Yeah. It's possible he lands on the top of the tower. I forget exactly how the showdown goes if we're even told. But I don't know if the tree men would jump on the Nazgul. I don't know if they want that. It's not exactly like the Nazgul's there to bust Saruman out. If Saruman,
no, not at all.
if Saruman leaves, he's screwed. So really the only thing Saruman has going for him right now is he's technically a spiritual being. I think he does need to eat and sleep, but beyond that, he can live forever. So as long as he could get like supplies in somehow, and maybe he has some crafty way to do that.
I assume that he had a decent amount in the tower and stores. He's probably got a few months.
So he's good.
His tower is seemingly indestructible. So
as long as he has the keys to Orthanc, and this, I believe, is echoed in the Silmarillion. The idea of there being keys to a tower that grant you like total mastery over it, like magical mastery over it. In the Baron and Luthien story, they come up against Sauron, who is similarly placed in a similar tower, and Luthien is able to. There's a lot to unpack here, but with the assistance of a giant talking bloodhound, she is able to capture werewolf Sauron and force him to tell her the unlocking spell, and she's able to destroy his tower. Like I said, that's a whole other ball of wax. We'll talk about it when we get to the Oh, and the hound can only talk 3 times in his life.
Okay, all right.
Also, he's their main strategist. I didn't write the Silmarillion, but I kind of wish I had. That's the hook. That's what they need to put on the back of the book. They need to let me write that. I'll get people interested in examining this dense prose.
So dense, Ben.
Does he die if he talks too much? Shai's asking me a question. Does the dog die if he talks too much? No, he's just only able to speak 3 times. He just won't be able to speak anymore.
Okay, that's fine. How many words is he allowed per speaking?
He does die, though. But I think he comes back to life in Valinor. The dog is prophesied to die in a fight with the greatest wolf that has ever and will ever live. And he does, but he also kills the wolf in the process.
So, but how much can he say per speaking? Like,
he can say quite a bit. I think it's like one
filibuster.
Yeah, he could. The way it goes, he could. I think it's like when I choose to speak, I say whatever whatever complete thought I need to say, and that's one.
Hey, how's it going, Baron? Oh shit, that counts as 1. I guess I just gotta keep talking until my thought is over.
Sauron turns into a giant wolf because he knows the prophecy that like a giant wolf will kill him, but Sauron ain't that wolf. And
yeah, Sauron.
The wolf.
You're not the biggest, baddest wolf.
The hound's name is Huon, and Huon kicks the shit out of Sauron, who in early drafts of the Silmarillion is named Thu.
Thu.
Yeah, Sauron came a lot later.
Like Stu.
Yeah, kind of. I might have to cut all of this. We're kind of at the end of the chapter now, and I don't really know how to get off this train at this point.
Well, my grandfather-in-law died today.
Wow. Okay.
Apparently that was that was big local news. Apparently.
Okay, so I guess this is an in memoriam episode.
Well, he also called my daughter fat, so you know.
Wow. Huh.
Yeah, these are those two who are like, oh, why is her belly so big? And she's like 2 years old, and it's like,
It's where the organs
where
are.
is it supposed to go? Yeah, that that's normal.
She's 1 foot tall and has all the same organs you do. Where the fuck do you think they're gonna go? Okay. Well, he sounds nice.
Anyway, how
Anyway,
are you gonna wrap this up?
so this is the last chapter of book 3, and as is custom, we will be taking a hiatus between book 3 and book 4. If you would like, it is an option to subscribe to the Patreon, and you will get the episodes as soon as I finish editing them. But we are probably not going to release another Talking About Tolkien episode, at least not another mainline one, on the main feed until, gonna be real with you, probably looking at like mid-October here, or maybe the end of October, because that's a big month for me. So we'll see.
Yeah.
But there will be updates on the Patreon, and I think next week in this slot I'm going to put in I want to say an interview with John Bierce, but it's more John Bierce contacted me with some like stuff he needed to get off his chest. So it's a John Bierce lecture on overpopulation fiction. So that'll be going in this slot. And I'm going to try to keep putting in weird little things here. I bought that dumb Gollum video game.
Oh, good.
I might play and see. We'll see. So yeah, it's gonna be it for a little while. But if you want to keep up with the show, can't promise it's gonna be coming out every week, but you will definitely get the episodes faster if you are a member of our Patreon.
The road goes ever on and on, down from the door which began. Now far ahead the road is gone, and I must follow it, if I can, pursuing it with eager feet until it joins some larger way, where many paths and errands meet, and whither then I cannot say.